Hold on here. We have the wrong feedback. What is messing with all my cameras? Give me just a second, because host, we're gonna turn that off. I have no idea what that was there for. But there's our guest. Sneak peek, preview, whatever you want to do. Welcome in, everybody, to Meet the Polymaker. I'm your host, as I have been for many, many weeks in a row, Joel. Nice to meet everybody if you're new. Nice to see the familiar faces. But the timer stuck. Yeah, I probably did look a little bit different there for a second. So, I don't know. Everything copied over from. Yeah, I'll figure it out after this. Lots of things to figure out. No idea. I blame Sean because he was the last to stream. We'll say it was some settings he messed with, even though he doesn't use the same app. But regardless, we are a show that talks about 3D printing and making maker news, along with showing community prints from our Discord. And then also, we meet new people every week, like the one you just saw. You'll meet her here in just a little bit. But if you haven't typed in yet, make sure to type in I am awesome. We do a giveaway at the end of every stream, as long as I'm here live and I can control it. Most streams, majority, we'll say. But with all those hiccups, we're ready to start the show off, and we got to start it the same way we do every time. Hotend headlines. So first up, we're going to talk about Starbucks. Who's basic here and enjoys their Starbucks? Because now, if you live in Texas, Brownsville, Texas to be exact, in south of Texas, they now have a brand new tiny cafe, as they're calling it, that is a 3D printed Starbucks. As you can see in the picture, this is going to be the final look aesthetic. They're not going to cover it up. It's going to stay the layer by layer of concrete, which I think is really awesome. As a tiny cafe, it does not have a dine-in. It only has a drive-through and a walk-up service. It's Texas. It's always warm. You're going to walk up anyway. And why are you drinking hot coffee in Texas? Hopefully, you're at least going for the ice stuff, or just none of it because it's gross and coffee drinkers are crazy. But that aside, it's a 1,400 square foot building. Again, considered a tiny cafe, and it is currently under construction, but planned to open next week on the 24th. So if you're in, I think it's the San Antonio area, you can go check it out and get yourself some Starbucks. Is it going to be priced higher because it's not a 3D printed building? Who knows? But next up, sorry, I'm clicking different things here. We're going to look at medical stuff. There's always new things in medical. Facial implants are not the stopping point. That's just the next step to more and more things. But they have done a full reconstructive surgery on a facial surgery as of March 18th of this year. That was successful. What I thought was cool, because normally we have these weird materials, and I can tell you all the components of it, and we have no idea what it is because we've never heard of it. This implant was actually printed in PEEK. While a lot of us probably haven't printed in PEEK, we usually at least recognize the name or the material. It's high heat and things like that, but that's what they used. It worked. It was designed and printed within the University Hospital Basel in Switzerland, and it was helped designed and created by the U.S.-based printer manufacturer 3D Systems. What's awesome about this is we've talked about it in many things medical-wise. It was created on site, so they were able to get exactly the shape, everything they needed, print it, and then use it. And I would say install it, but that sounds a little bit grotesque on a surgery, but implant it into the patient successfully, and so far no ill effects. So really cool thing to see. Next up, we're going to be back in space, because we often visit space in 3D printing because there is so much innovation in the metal 3D printing aspect of things. NASA, of course, is no, what's the word I'm looking for? Stranger. There we go. No stranger to anybody. We know NASA. It's NASA or SpaceX if it's space related. Typically, Blue Origin. We'll wait to see if they catch up. But NASA has designed a 3D printed, again, metal 3D printed nozzle for their propulsion engines. This is actually designed by Venus Aerospace, a Texas-based hypersonic propulsion company that works with NASA, of course. Materials are enable the construction of complex integrated structures such as coolant channels, injector orifice, and the big thing with that, it's a lot of words, is there's complex geometries that can't be done with the conventional machining. That's where this metal printing is coming in tenfold, is they can do shapes and channels and get the most efficiency packed into one thing. Well, we've seen the Raptor engine has had many iterations, and as more and more metal 3D printing components were able to be designed and made for it, it got smaller and smaller with still the same or better output and efficiency. So this rocket that they did this nozzle for is the RDRE, Rotating Detonation Rocket Engine, if you are into that kind of stuff. And they plan to use it first in the Stargazer M4 vehicle. I've never heard of it either. Don't don't be confused. Like, what is that? It looks like some type of jet. I didn't do the research on that, but it looked pretty wicked. So stay tuned, and we'll see how fast it goes. Next up, two handsome men that you all probably recognize, Joel Telling and David Tobin. They're at it again. So we've talked about and announced a little while back with their collaboration with SparkFun. Doing a lot of things with STEM and STEAM, and they have a new initiative. It's the CMI. That's going to be the Community Manufacturing Initiative, and they're working to create real and sustainable changes that last years, and that's not just a fad. That actually is instilled in different locations, whether it be companies, maker spaces, education, with educators and everything. They've already met with heads of colleges for the whole entire states, along with a lot of large companies, to work together and making this happen. It is a global initiative. It's not just U.S. based. And you can find them, of course, on all their socials. But the site itself, I'm going to copy and paste this real quick, is anybody that's an educator or that is looking to or have a makerspace or work with and are looking to do something for this or learn more about it. I've just put the link in the chat. Just another awesome thing where they're, really just building the youth and getting them involved in a lot of things of learning and building the future, because the youth is there, and let's make sure they're as well equipped as possible, because when I'm older, I want to be taken care of. So ideally, that world is taken care of too, so I don't have to go around wearing masks. But again, they're willing to work with companies, educators, makerspaces, etc. If you're interested or know somebody that might be interested in, check out that website, and you can find more information there. And last but not least, we're going to address the elephant in the room. We did announce this morning at 10 a.m. That there is a price increase coming May 1st. This is going to be a 10% price increase on our retail site for all products, filament and hardware / accessories. This, of course, due to the global changes and the supply changes and costs. There's a lot of questions you may ask. I typically don't spend a whole lot of time because we have to meet our maker. But I'm going to get the site copied over here. Let me get it real quick. If anybody has any questions, please refer to the website first. There is an FAQ that answers a lot of questions. A lot of questions we see keep being repeated. It is answered there. You are welcome to discuss it in the Discord. Keep it friendly. Keep it nice. We're not talking about it on the political aspect of things. Everybody has their political opinions. Just the fact, if you want to have any questions on how that's being addressed, biggest thing that I will address here that is addressed in the FAQ is if things change or the tariffs go back to the original levels, we do plan on reducing the price back to original levels. We do not want to keep them increased. So, depending on what the market does, that's what we will go with. But again, if you have any questions, go to that site, check it out. If you have questions, you're more than free to ask in the Discord. Most of our employees are active in there, and will answer as much as they can answer. Polymaker, we always try to be transparent. We try to stay ahead of it. Again, then with the other big thing is wholesale prices are not changing. Those are going to stay where they are to help local businesses and small businesses. We do have our factory. We are trying our best to ramp up as much as we can there, but it is not able to do full production of the entire lineup. We have way too many filaments. So it is a plan. We continue increasing that, adding to the SKUs that they do make in-house in our Houston, Texas factory. So again, a lot of information even about our polymelt factory in Houston is all on that link. So go check that out, read up. It does give you a lot of information, but that is where we're at. We're going to head now to Spooler Spotlight. And first up, these are all shares from our Discord at discord.polymaker.com on our Show Off Prints channel. And the first print is by Shergal. It is the Science X or SciX Research Shuttle, which is a design by Games Art, available on My Mini Factory. I don't have a logo for that one site. I have most logos, but My Mini Factory, if you search this up, you can print it yourself. Really cool. When I first looked at it, I thought it was a deformed Master Chief helmet. So, but when I actually looked at it, it's very well printed and a cool design. Next up, for people that are my age, we grew up with Short Circuit. It is an amazing movie. If you're younger and you haven't watched it, highly recommend. It's got some cheesy humor, some quips, some fun stuff. But this is Johnny Five. This is version 2 of Johnny Five. And this is printed by Midnight Wolf, and it is designed by J Danger 79, and it is available on Maker World if you want to print it yourself. So look at Johnny Five. Everybody knows it. Next up, we have CCM 1092 has printed a Hue Forge. Yeah, I mean, I've labeled these because people don't label, they don't name their failures, so I have to. So this is Print de la Disappointment. There's not a T on there for some reason. I missed that. But and the design is by CCM 1092 because it was a failure of his that he did share in our Discord. We take them all, the good, the bad, the ugly. Share them. This one, I'm not sure if it's a layer shift at one of the points where it started to do the design of the Hue Forge he had, but it's interesting nonetheless. So maybe he'll frame it and keep it forever. Next up, we have Prints with Chris coming at you with another design by PLA, NPA. And I'm wondering if they're not the same people at this point, because he prints all of the models that PLA and PA designs. But this was a really awesome one. We see all the different iterations. The Chill Mario has been super popular. I mean, Iron Mario, why not? Because Mario can be anything he wants to be. He does not have to be a plumber. It's 2025, people. Get with it. And last but not least, we have Karen Chow Designs. Easter is right around the corner, so here's your personalized Easter eggs. You can put money, candy, etc. in. They can be used for jewelry, beads, or anything you wish after you gift it to somebody. It is customizable, so you can change the name on there. You do not have to print it out that says Karen and hand it to Joel or Tim or Bob or Stacy. You can put the name on there, change it up, make it customized, and print it out. So very cool prints. Very much appreciate everybody sharing those, and a lot more people doing the links. Thank you for sharing the links to the models. It makes it so much easier for not just myself to do it for the show, but for the people that want to print it to find it so much easier. You can share yours also again on our Discord. It's free. Why not? And you might be shown on the next episode of Meet the Polymaker. But we're going to take a commercial break. And after that, we do what we do every week, and we meet a new maker that you might have already met shortly in video without audio. But nonetheless, we'll be right back.
Come on down to Polymaker's Palace of Printing Perfection, where we have everything your 3D printing heart desires. We have PLA, we have ABS. Let's not forget ASA, maybe PET G is your material of choice. We got that too. Don't forget nylons for those specific needs. Printing something special for that loved one in your life? We have all the colors to make that print a one of a kind. You want reds? We got them. How about blues? We got those too. And greens? Of course we do. Too many to count. And let's not forget the yellows all day long. Now don't take my word for it. Come on down and see for yourself. Here at Polymaker's Palace of Printing Perfection, we strive to fulfill all your printing needs. So come on down and start your collection today. We're easy to find right past the giant light box on Hangout Avenue at us.polymaker.com.
Are you into cosplay and prop making? Are you tired of having to break out those power tools to sand those lines away? And don't forget about all that hand sanding. Cramps. Ouch. Introducing Polymaker's Cos PLA, available in 2 different versions, version A and version B. Both versions are still easier to stand than standard PLA. Find out more at us.polymaker.com.
Whoa, I'd love to get into 3D printing, but I live here on the sun where the UV rays are nuts.
Wait just one moment there, strapping young chap. Have you ever heard of Polymaker ASA? Polymaker ASA is UV resistant, so it is the perfect application for printing near or around the sun.
No way, bro.
Yes way, brosif. Here, Try it out.
Radical, man.
If you need a weather-resistant material, make sure you check out Polymaker's ASA.
Printing on the sun is no problem at all with Polymaker ASA.
And welcome back to the show. How do I sound now? The commercial is my chance to actually read through chat and see my DMs. And do I sound better now? I think it was using these. Better audio sounds good. Awesome. Cool. I think, guys, for some reason, everything changed. All my settings. But I was using the headset mic. So, sorry for that. I think it peaked a few times, somebody said. So, all good. Thank you. There you go. Stay crew. That's who it was. Thank you very much. But we're back to the show. We got the audio working. Obviously, the video is working because it worked at the beginning of the show. So it should be no different this time around. Except I lost my guest in the feed. One moment. We're going to go ahead and move to that segment so I can actually mess with it here. Please welcome in Black Screen. Let's see what happened here. Guest mic. Make sure nothing's changed. Of course, I had to say that, of course, if the video works. Just waiting for the guests to come back in here. It's always some kind of mess up. She has her lights turned on, turned off. How's everybody doing tonight? That's what I get for not being live. I mean, being live last week, things messed up. We could bring in a really handsome guest. Oh, no, she's back. There we go. Now let's see if the audio works. Hello, hello. Welcome in.
Okay, I'll turn off the YouTube. I was watching over there because I wasn't seeing it over here, so.
Okay, well, we got you. I can hear you. It's shown here, so I think they can hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, good. Come on, Verizon. Who loves those commercials? But please welcome in everybody, STL Denise. Okay, cool. Everything is working. So, obviously, you're a familiar face. You've been to a lot of rep rap festivals. You might write some articles here and there on the interweb somewhere. But for those that don't know who you are, don't recognize you, can you tell them who you are and what you do?
Sure. Okay, so I'm STL Denise, and I freelance for Tom's Hardware. So I write reviews for printers. I was just checking a list. I think I'm at printer number 95 at the moment, since I've been reviewing for them for about 3 years now. So I'm hoping that printer number 100 is really cool.
That would be nice. It would make for a good article.
Yeah. On top of that, I have my own YouTube channel, which is STL Denise 3D. And before that, I was just Denise from Twitter. So
Easy enough. So of course, I know what that all means. Obviously, we know what Denise means. It's your name. 3D because 3D related. STL for.
Well, actually, there is a little bit of a story there, because before I got the 3D printer, I was a mom blogger, and the name that was picked for me by the content mill that I was first blogging for was, oh, you're in St. Louis, so STL. So I was STL Motherhood when
Okay.
I was just doing the mom blog. And then when I got my first printer, it was like STL files. It's a
Perfect.
sign.
Yeah.
So it seemed like a natural
So
thing.
yeah, it's kind of a play on words, but not really a play on words. There's probably a better
Yeah.
word for it, but yeah, it was meant to be is what we're gonna
Yes.
get to, right? So of course, with the reviews you've been doing, like you said, about 3 years. Is the reviews, or are the reviews what got you into 3D printing, or was that something that you were interested in prior to that?
No, actually, like I said, I was a mom blogger. I was doing crafts was my primary thing, but my kids were getting too old to play with popsicle sticks with me. And my husband got me a printer for my birthday, and it was a CR10S from Creality, and it was so freaking cool that I was like, "This is gonna be my new blog thing, so I can, do grown-up crafts now."
Yeah.
And so I did, and so it was 2020, but I wanna say that I got the printer a couple of weeks before things went crazy. So
Oh yeah,
but my
dumpster
my
fire.
first print now this is, so this was my
That's-
first big deal. I did these dumpster fires and I made them as Christmas ornaments. And I thought these were just so cool. I was making them for all the people I knew. And then a friend of mine was like, "Oh, you should like sell those." So I put those on Etsy. But then
huh?
I started blogging about 3D printing, and Tom's Hardware was looking for a new reviewer. And they were like, I didn't have a whole lot of experience with printers at the time because I had the CR10 and I had an Ender 3 Pro.
All right.
But I have a degree in journalism, a background in writing, been blogging for several years. So my editor was like, you can learn.
You can pick it up
So
and run with it.
yeah. Yeah. So it's like I've always approached reviewing printers as, the newbie who's just getting their first printer out of the box because I don't have that engineering background, but I
Yeah.
really love 3D printing and I love creating with them.
It just kind of, I think it kind of makes it more of a real unboxing. You know, that it's
Yeah.
like you said, is you're not nitpicking all the technical aspects and everything. It's like, hey, can I unbox this? Can I put it together? Can I make it work? And how well
Right.
does it work? So you get a good aspect on that. Now, when Tom's Hardware had, approached you, was it strictly for the 3D printing aspect of things, or just kind of reviews
Yeah,
in general?
yeah, it started off, they had like this one printer that was hanging around from their previous reviewer who had, I think he went full time or something with another company. So they mailed me that first print. It was a resin. It was a frozen resin printer. And I was like, I've never done resin before. So that was exciting. Um, but it's like my first couple of stories with them were just like, here's some Christmas ornaments that you can make. And I thought that was going to be my deal. I was just going to do like, here's some prints that are cool on the internet. And they're like, no, 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 we really need you to review these printers.
Review, yeah.
So, and at the time they had only been reviewing printers for about a year. So I was in charge of going out and making the connections with people and,
Okay.
you know,
Now, did that was that something that, the ease of emailing, of course, isn't so bad, but to get responses back, was it hard work to get responses back, or?
a little bit, but fortunately, with Tom's Hardware being around since the 90s, I was able to say we have 9
Established.
million, or it was like 6 million eyeballs a month.
Oh,
So,
nice.
it's like, give us a
Pretty good
printer, we'll
sell.
review it. We don't charge. And you'll get exposure to it. It was kind of fun getting someone else. It's like, we're going to give you exposure.
Yeah, I got you covered.
Come to my
So,
audience.
so now, when you get these printers in, I know that this is probably a question the community would ask when we do the community questions, but are those then sent back to the company that sent them? Do they get sent to Tom's Hardware? Do they get?
Okay.
Do you get to keep them? Or what happens with what you review?
Okay. Technically, the printers all belong to Tom's Hardware, so I'm just the guardian of the machines.
Okay.
But when I'm reviewing at my house, so I have a finite amount of shelf space that I can put printers on.
Yep.
So when I run out of space, I have a local makerspace that helps me rehome them. So
Oh,
they
awesome.
either go back to different people within Tom's Hardware. So we make sure that all the editors have a printer because I work directly for the editor in chief, and he wants to make sure that everyone at Tom's Hardware has a cool 3D printer because we
Yeah.
think they're really neat. And so I take care of those people. And then also my local makerspace then helps me. I give them some printers, and then what they help pass them on to robotics teams. So high school
Okay.
robotics
Yeah.
teams in the city of St. Louis
So that way
have
you
a
know
lot of
they're
my
getting
Tom's Hardware
use.
printers.
Yeah. They're getting use rather than just going to a collector or going
No,
into,
yeah.
cool.
So I keep maybe a dozen around, but I think I just did a count. I am up to maybe 95 printers. So
That's been through your
yeah,
house at one point or another.
yeah. So,
Now, is
and
there
that's
any
just the
that you've
printers, not counting the lasers. I did a bunch of chairs and mice and whatever for them too. And then also resin. So,
so kind of in the general maker space,
yeah.
yeah, in general. But now with the printers that you do have in the house, are there any that have stayed there for a long time, or do they rotate pretty freshly as the new ones come in?
Well, ideally, I want to try to keep a printer from each brand so that when a new one comes up, I have like
The
their old printer
comparison.
to compare it to.
Smart. Yep.
I have an Ender 3 S1 Pro. That's just my favorite. So that one, I put a nozzle cam on that one, and that one's just going to stay because I love that little machine so much. Even though it's not like top of the line anymore, but it's such a
It's the
it's a
sentimental
good
value,
worker.
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
I.
I've been lucky enough to get a couple of Pruses now, and they're going to have to pry those out of my cold fingers.
Those ones aren't available. You can have any other ones from the lot, but these are mine.
Yeah.
So now,
And then back here we got the Anycubic. I think that's the Cobra S1. So that's what
yeah.
we're getting. That'll be the next review to come out. I have a Formlabs in my garage right now. So it's been through the review process, and unfortunately, that's one of those where they want it back because that is such an expensive machine.
Expensive. Yeah.
And then also they're in the United States, so it's easier for them to arrange for a pickup.
Yeah.
Most of the printers that come from overseas, they're just like,
it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth their effort to collect it. So it's just, part of the process. And although we don't charge for reviews, I think they just consider it's like, hey, you get a free printer.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. You're doing that, and that's enough. Like you said, with all the logistics and the cost involved, it's like, yeah,
it's not worth their effort to get it back. So, but
so
the Formlabs, it's like they want that one back. So they're sending a semi truck out probably to collect it.
Oh, and afraid it. Did it come in on a pallet?
It came in on 3 pallets. It's the Formlabs 4 large.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's been a couple of times where I've had printers come in on a big truck. So
yeah, like the Orange Storm Giga. I think that
the Giga. The logo there was done on the Giga. So
now with all these printers that you've been through, of course, you've seen all the technology change in really since what 2020 they've changed a lot. Like
it's amazing. And it's like I felt like I came in late to the game because there were people who had so much more experience. And I don't know if you've ever seen Angus Maker's Muse talking about hand wrapping nozzles and stuff, and I was like, wow. But I was just doing I'm doing a article on build plates right now. And it's like my first build plate was glass, and it was warped, and it was held on with binder clips. And we're so far from that now, and it's just been 5 years.
Oh yeah. So now with all that and seeing that transition and kind of have an idea being in the industry of what is coming out and what to expect, is there any printer that you're really excited about reviewing that's coming out in say the next 6 to 8 months?
I'm not sure what else they've got for us. I've got I've got the Bamboo, the H2D, and that was really cool. I'm kind of hoping that more people get into the tool changers because
I'm with you there. 100%.
The amount of wasted filament with the AMS systems. I mean, I really love the AMS because I can't paint worth a darn. But if we get into more tool changers, that would be really cool.
Yep. If I can do a mouse and just color in the lines on a slicer and then print it in the multicolor, that's my way to go. So I'm 100% there with you. Same with the tool changers. I think it's a technology that, of course, there's some refining to do to make it really work really well commercially. But that's what I'm excited about because I want something with number one, the waste reduction, and then the speed of color changes. Of course, AMSs, they work great. They work, but they're slow. It takes the whole speed from the printer kind of away because now it's slowed down by the AMS. But yeah, plenty more things. Now, do you prefer, now that you've done so many of lasers and resin and FDM, is FDM still kind of your go-to that you enjoy the most?
Yeah. FDM printers are always going to be my favorite. In fact, we brought in a new reviewer who's going to be taking over resins for us. He's working on his first review right now. So he got the Hallet from Creality.
Okay, next one. Yep.
Yeah. So the Form Labs, it's like, I never say never, but that might be my last resin printer. I mean, I still got a couple on the shelf there if something needs to be done, but I'm hoping to focus on FDM and then lasers and also scanners now because Creality sent us a scanner to review.
They're pretty decent. I have one myself, and the technology there too with the blue lasers and blue light scanning and all that stuff is it's another thing that's really in just the last couple of years on the consumer side of things has been ridiculous of it, just the accessibility and the cost. It's still not super cheap for a really nice scanner, but it's way cheaper than it was just a couple years ago.
Well, and we were both at Rapid, and one of the I was talking, oh gosh, I can't remember which company it was, but it was one of the high-end industrial scanner people. They had the big robot arm scanning an airplane door at the moment.
Okay.
And I told him, well, I'm more of a consumer reporter. And he was like, oh, you need to go talk to Revo Point. So I'm going to hopefully talk to them and see what their consumer level scanner. And that was I think it was under 2,000. I think it was 1,500.
Yeah, because I've got their the Miraco, which is their handheld, which that is by far out of all the ones that I've tried and that I own is the best. That's just an all-in-one that's truly portable. It doesn't require you to wirelessly connect to a laptop or plug in a long cable. It is just it's like a tablet connected to a scanner, and it works. And then
it looked really cool when the gal demonstrated it for us.
Yeah, now they have they had the normal one, the Pro, and I got the Pro when it came out. Now they have the Plus, and then now they have the Metro X, which is like a super detailed scanner, a track it system where it's like a big scanner that wall mounts while you're scanning something. It just there's a lot there. I didn't get to really play with a whole lot of it, but no, that'd be interesting to see what you find on, especially being able to compare them. Seeing which ones work the best, but they all have their use cases and what works best. But no, I look forward to it, and I do read the articles. Popular to or contrary to popular belief, I do know how to read at the 3rd grade level, so I don't really read half of your articles, but no.
Well, I think I write at the 5th grade level, so
so I'm almost there. I just need a little more practice. But so now with, of course, getting into 3D printing stuff, now we've learned about the professional side of things. You did do, like you said, the Christmas ornaments, things like that. Do you still dive into that at all, or is it strictly just the business side of things that you do 3D printing for?
Sorry, I started looking at the chat there.
Yeah, it's hard not to. But I was just saying is that now, like other than the professional side of reviews and everything of that nature, do you still like sell anything on Etsy or design anything or mess with that side of things?
Yeah, I have an Etsy store that's on vacation because, like I said, I did the dumpster fires for a bit there, and they were kind of they're really exciting that first year. So I'm not sure if I'm going to reopen that, but actually Elegoo invited me to come over and talk to. They're doing an Elegoo with her program.
Yeah,
they had a contest and they invited 30 gals to come over, and we are helping them with their 3D printing business. So I was tasked with giving them advice on how to sell prints. So
awesome.
Yeah. And so last summer I spent a lot of time selling dragons. So I did an Adopt a Dragon booth, and love it or hate it, but there's people who love dragons.
I do the same. I do vendor sites or vendor sales every now and then, and it's still dragons are like 95% of the sales.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. And it's like, it's really weird because people in the community are like, oh, I'm so tired of looking at dragons. But when you go out there's really not that many people who actually have 3D printers.
Yeah.
So when you go out to or at least not in my neighborhood. So we went to do some vendor fairs, and it's like you run into a lot of kids who are like, oh, I've got a 3D printer at school, so they understand
Yeah.
it. And then their parents or their grandparents are like, I don't know what this box is.
Yeah, I run into the same
But
here in
yeah,
Ohio, but yeah, it's the same. As I think we get caught up in the fact that even though the community is quite large and it's growing,
yeah.
exponentially, is there's still a ton of people out
Oh,
there that
we're
when they
just a
see
drop
something
of the
3D
bucket.
printed, yep, even if they know what it is, they haven't really experienced it. So
Yeah.
to them, a dragon's cool. Maybe
Yeah.
they've only ever seen it on
Well,
on TikTok or something, but now they can hold it.
well, and that's the whole thing. Like the first Christmas one I did, I brought like, the Cinder Wing is kind of the classic now.
Yep.
And although we've seen this dragon for like 3 years or something, I think it just crossed 3 years. There'll be kids that come up and go, "It's the TikTok dragon," and they're really excited. And it's like it's the first time they've seen one, or could hold one in their hands. And
Oh
grandma's
yeah.
sitting there ready to buy one for them, so that's kind of cool.
Especially when there's so many colors now and effects and
Yeah,
everything else. So then it's just, some people have that thing where they want to collect. Like, I bought one last time I saw you. Now they want another one, so they want a different size, a different color.
yeah,
It's a fun thing, but it's a nice thing too. Is I always love it because of course I have the gift of gab. Is how many people you can talk to and it kind of introduced to
yeah.
3D printing, and whether
Mhm.
90% of them probably go home, forget about you, but if it's just one person decides I want to get a printer, it just adds to it.
Oh,
Whether they're
yeah.
just printing
Well,
or designing or whatever they're doing.
yeah, and here in St. Louis, we're pretty lucky that we have a micro center
Yep.
in the suburbs. So I would always bring one of my printers and set it up when we're vending. And then that way, since I'm kind of doing it, I'm not trying to be full time selling prints. It's just
Hmm.
sort of a side
Yep.
gig for me
Same
to,
with
to
me.
see how it works. And so it's like by having the printer there, it's like one, I can show people who've maybe never seen a printer. It's like, well, this is how it's being made. But also, it's like if somebody's like, oh, I got a printer, I'm like, do you have this printer? Let's talk printers.
Yep.
And then I can tell,
You
go
basically
down to
get
Micro
paid to
Center,
talk
get
to
a
people
printer.
about 3D printing.
Yeah.
It's it's not
I
a
was like,
bad
here's my
gig.
business card. I have a website.
Yep. It all works out. Like
Yeah.
I said, it does. It really does build the community up, and gets more people interested, whether they were on the fence or knew nothing about it. Yeah,
Mhm.
I highly recommend anybody that has the ability to even go set up for a little event. A lot
Yeah.
of times it's like 25-50 bucks to go to an event or to
Oh,
set
yeah.
up in an event, and then you can just print 2 dragons. You're gonna make that money back. It's well worth it. But now with all that stuff, the vending things and of that nature, is there anything that you yourself love to print or that you print around the house, whether it be functional or decor or anything
Ooh.
else?
Well, I actually am really into the dragons.
Yeah.
And it's like, one of the things I'm working on because the people complain. It's like, oh, well, make your own thing. So I am at like the Tinkercad level of design. So I'm like working on a little castle instead of I print the dragon eggs, of course,
Oh
but
yeah,
I figured something there.
the castle. That's
Um,
something different.
and then when we do the Rip Rap festivals, we're going to go to Denver and then also the Midwest and the East Coast one. So we always do just a maker table. And since with my roots as a mom blogger, I always like to interact with the kids. So I bring
Fun stuff.
that's where a lot of my test prints go. I give them to children. So
Get
so
rid
we
of them
always
one way
print
or
like a
another.
giant chest full of Flexi Rexes to give out to kids too. But this year we are doing an electric football game. So for those who remember electric football, if you're of a certain generation, it was okay. So I've got back up here. All right. So we made these 3D printed hex bugs. You
Yep.
might know,
Little
depending upon
vibrating,
how old you
moving
are.
bugs. Yep.
Yeah. So this was originally it was brush bots, and you took the little motor. So there's a little motor there, and you would put it on a toothbrush, and then tape it together to a battery, and then you'd make little and stick googly eyes on it. And I made these with my kids, and it was such a pain. And it's like, well, let's 3D print something. So we started 3D printing these, and this is on my blog. And so we put those out, and the kids would thought they were really cool.
Yeah.
But older people would come along and say, I remember the electric football game that I had as a kid. So this year we are doing electric football, so I'm making football players, American football, and
Yeah.
we're gonna have little football guys running around on a stadium.
Oh yeah, and then for the really young people watching, they're still wondering what are they talking
Yeah.
about football? Is it was pretty much the players were on a football field that vibrated, just
Yeah, so
bzzz.
I didn't have it being a girl, but my husband had one, and it was a football field, and the field vibrated. So there was a motor inside the field, and when you turned it on, it would vibrate. But the players all had legs kind of like similar to that. And then you would set your players up, and then you turn the field on, and it would vibrate everybody around for a bit. And that's how you determine how
Yeah, who gets to
how
the
the game
goal
went.
or yeah, and it was just it was
Yeah.
completely random. There was really no
Oh,
skill
yeah.
involved. It was just turn it on and hope that your team was the one that came into the goal.
Yeah. And I think you could steer them a little bit. And there was a way to like one guy could throw the football with a kind of a little flicker catapult thing.
Okay.
So,
I've only ever
but
seen the vibration because I never owned one myself, but I knew of them that
yeah,
just the vibrating and moving around and
yeah.
but
So
it's
ours is
just
going to
brings
be a
back
little different
memories.
because each of the players will have a vibrating base like this.
Okay, yep.
And
that'll
we
be
might just put some Flexi Rexes out there and give them little helmets. So.
oh, even better, yeah. Add to it, just extra players. That's the
Yeah.
second string.
Yeah.
But and you said that's gonna be you're gonna have those at Rocky Mountain, and then
Yes.
the rest of the rep wraps.
Yeah.
Awesome. And do you know how many you're gonna have? Like how many of the larger ones?
Well, we just made that was one of my last prints on the Giga. I sent the Giga off to a friend who has a print farm because it was in my living room taking up a lot of space. I actually decorated it for Christmas this year. We printed a tree on it
and then just
put
put the
lights
presents on the
whole-
bed.
So I think I still have custodial rights to come visit the printer, but yeah, it's
There you go.
not in the house. But
Yeah.
my husband set this one up with a giant motor and a remote control, so he can run this one around a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
So, don't be surprised to see a little midget footballer be running through all the aisles at Rocky Mountain.
Yes.
But yeah, so what we'll do, let me see, I don't know what we're at on time. Actually, we're not doing bad on time. So
Okay.
we'll talk for a minute here, but for the community or for the viewers that are watching on YouTube and Twitch, if you have any questions for Denise, ask them and we'll catch up to it, and we'll ask her whatever your heart desires. Whether she answers, it's up to her. Depends on how crazy the viewers get. They're usually pretty PG. So
Okay.
but now, of course, with you're talking about the Elegoo, the women printing Elegoo thing.
Mhm.
Is that something that it's all stateside, or are they actually taking you out to China? Or
Oh, well, it's kind of a global thing. They had a
Okay.
contest earlier to pick 30 winners. And then those gals all got, I think they got a Centauri Carbon. Some
nice.
of them did get resin printers because that was more in line with the kind of crafting or whatever that they were trying to
they're
do.
doing.
And then if you go to Elegoo with her, you'll see the slate. There's like 8 really fabulous gals. One of like variable seams. I'm trying to think of the names of some of the others. Most of them are fashion people.
Fashion. Okay,
So-
that's what I noticed when because I seen something else about it, and
Yeah.
doing like the Foley 3D printed dresses.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So it's like well, Denise doesn't do fashion, so she can do something else.
give me any other thing, but that's the same.
But-
Yeah, I wear a
but-
t-shirt and pants.
Yeah. The nice thing though is that although right now we're doing private workshops with the winners of the program, once the program is over, Elegoo is going to release all of our videos to their YouTube channel. So
Okay.
then anybody else can get the content that we provided. They're gonna like edit it for clarity,
Oh yeah.
and then
So
and
it
then it'll
makes
be
sense.
out
It's
there
not
for
just
the
a
public.
bunch of random videos like what's going on here? What is this all about? Yeah, so let's see here. I did see one of the first questions was Laws64 is asking, is the Giga super noisy? Or
Yes.
was it when you had it?
Yes.
Very noisy.
Yeah, one of the problems is that whenever you turn it on, it's going to be on for at least 3 days because you don't print something small on that thing. And I noticed that it was in our living room. So during movie nights, we had to turn the volume up to hear over that printer. It has like 5 cooling fan units just to cool, because there's all these different
There's a lot to it because it's so
it was
huge.
a lot.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, you basically, I mean, really, it's not even 4 times larger. It's like, I don't know, 8 times larger than a typical printer.
Yeah,
so
it's like a
it
meter
has about
cube.
8 times the parts.
Yeah. So if you get one, I mean, it's kind of a cool printer. I had one of the very first ones, so it wasn't leveling very well at that time, but they took feedback from all of the early adopters.
Yep.
And so I think it's a little more under control now. And considering the price of it, it's really a good bargain for the amount of printer that you're getting. But just
If you're going to be printing big.
put it in your garage, or maybe have, if you're a business and you've got a warehouse, it's great for that.
Then it's no big deal. Yeah.
But I popped the circuit breakers for like half the house the first time I plugged it in.
Whoops. Oh yeah, because it has all the beds and everything, because it's
Yeah.
like multiple.
Well, it's like each bed has its own heater. So
Yeah, so that does a big draw for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Robert Dingman over on YouTube has asked, how long have you been printing? We kind of discussed that.
Since 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
So going
So
on
actually,
5 years.
Not that long, really.
In the scope of things. Well,
Yeah.
like you said, though, you kind of joined at I don't want to say the start of it, because of course printers have been around for many years
Yeah.
prior, but
Kind of in the
it
middle.
started becoming a lot bigger deal with consumers, more
Yeah.
accessible.
It's like
But,
when I started, we still had manual leveling. Probes were like something you added on extra. Clipper was like, what is that?
Yeah, no
Paper
idea.
leveling and glass beds and clips and things. So,
Yeah,
but
back
I
in the
didn't have
day.
to make my own nozzle, so that's something.
That is a plus. Yeah, neither did I. I've been about 8 years, so it's a little bit longer, but it's Ender 3 was my start. So
Yeah.
let's see. Net 7 question for Denise. With the official reviews, it seems very soft touch, and that's okay. That's what most first-time reviews are. But have you ever considered revisits, follow-ups after yourself or someone else on the team at Tom's has used it for a while? Maybe so basically a follow-up review, maybe on your own site for ones you keep and use yourself, or for Tom. Like basically, have you revisited a review to kind of say, hey, this is 6 months after, this is 12 months after?
Well, I haven't like tried to update a review. But one of the things that's pretty popular on my YouTube channel is comparing printers. So that's what I'm trying to do for that, is I'll do a head-to-head. Like, how does this one compare to that one? And it's just, I know there's a lot more printers that I could be doing on the YouTube channel, but it's just, I'm kind of busy reviewing them the first time around.
Yeah.
But I hope to get a lot more of those out.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Make sure I don't mess over here. Okay, some people are talking about poly dryers over here. Let's see here.
Poly dryers are cool.
Yep, they
I've
work
got one.
well.
Yeah.
Very good to hear. And then, okay, so here I'll put you on the spot, and you have to be honest, even if it's a negative or not. And we talked a little bit about it, but of course, you recently had your first. I say recently; it's been probably a month or more. But with our co-PE material, what is your honest opinion on the co-PE now that you've used it?
Okay, it needs glitter, for one.
He's okay.
I didn't have any problem really printing it. I was running some tests. Let's see where I don't have it anymore. I was doing like a fidget cube, and I did notice it had a little bit maybe of a bridging thing, but I ran. I got like 5 spools of it and made a 5-color dragon book nook, and it works. It works really nice.
That looks good. Yeah, good. I didn't pay her to say that. I was literally looking for legit feedback. So
now I think probably my only problem with it is that the spools came without really identifying it as cope or whatever.
Yep. Yeah.
So and since it's a totally different formula, it doesn't play well with others. So it really needs to be labeled.
That's we're supposed to be updating that. So
yeah.
I don't have an ETA, but yeah, that's a big thing. Because of course we finally took the PLA out. Well, it never said PLA. PLA was never in the name, even when it was Panchroma regular. Now it's Panchroma Co-PE. But yeah, that was one complaint because that's you get it. You can only assume it's PLA. It's a Panchroma because all of our other Panchroma is PLA. But we're working on we'll say a redirect, a repurposing.
Yeah, just needs a little labeling on there, and that's I mean, because it's like if you picked up Pet G. I mean, that's a pretty typical filament these days, but you can't run it with PLA. So.
Yep. Yeah. So there was not the best of launches. We've been able to kind of cover most of that now, but we have learned the next release, which may be soon. We'll make sure it's we're already making sure there's multiple campaigns that we have so people understand the use of and what. But the use community support interface. Yeah, it works as a support interface. Grenier glitter. Yes, I agree. Pretty much any of the aesthetic stuff. So let's see here. So with that said, they're kind of asking those questions. We'll end it off here with a few rapid fire questions.
Woo.
Some of them are kind of the same I do every week, but first things first. Of course, with the printers, you've probably dealt with a lot of different the filaments and filament companies. You do not have to say Polymaker. What's been your favorite, whether it be a color, surface effect? What's your overall favorite filament at this time?
Okay, it's more of a type because I've seen it done well from different companies, and it very well could be made by the same company, just white labeled. But the tricolor, that's got to be my favorite.
Okay, yeah, just the effect, especially with dragons. It's one thing I notice people. I can have the coolest colors in the world. Like bright neon green that I think this is awesome. And if I have tricolor next to it, you can guarantee that green one's sitting there until the tricolors are gone.
I was like, ooh, I think this is just a dual. But I've talked to people who make filament stateside, and apparently you can't really get that equipment over here. So
it's not impossible for us to make. So possibly in the future we'll have to see. Keep demanding it, and all the channels demand it, so they see it because I know it's able to be done. I've asked it.
Well, and the dual colors, I mean, that's almost a given for dragons. Other than having a whole bunch of glitter in them.
The dual colors and gradients have been super popular. So all the kind of color changing, whether it be different shades of greens and pinks or the rainbow gradients and all that stuff. So
and I think this was made by Pez Liz.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure this is one of the galaxies. Something it's got like some iridescent green sparkles in it. It's really cool.
So probably like the what is it? The galaxy dark green, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yep. She kind of does cool earrings, I guess. I've heard of her before, but
I don't know. Some crazy lady came along and gave me some earrings. It's like, ooh. No.
But the next question I ask,
cool.
Oh yeah, no, she's awesome. But next question is, out of all the things you've printed, what has been the one print you're most proud of?
Ooh. The most proud. Ooh. I like all the things. Oh, okay. Probably. Okay. It was one of the early prints. And this one was kind of, it's weird to say that this is a significant print for me. But when I was a kid, I saw Star Wars in the theater, the first Star Wars.
Okay.
And, back then it's like you begged for the toys. And I never got a Han Solo blaster. And I was able to print a Han Solo blaster, and it just made my day. And I got it on the bookshelf in the other room. And I was like, that's probably one of my favorite things. And it's like, oh, it's so cool. And I made it myself. And I took it to my kids are in Boy Scouts or have been in Boy Scouts.
Yep.
And around Christmas, I would do a thing where I'd bring in some printers and one of the lasers. X-Tool makes a laser that's like class 1, so it's safe to use around kids.
Yep.
And we make Christmas ornaments, and I showed the kids how 3D printers work. And I brought a bunch of things that I had made, and someone was goofing around with my blaster, and they dropped it, and it broke. And they're like, "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Bertacci." And it's like, it's okay. I can fix it. I'll just print another part and I'll glue it right back on. It's no big deal.
Yeah. That's
but if it was like my toy from 1979, it's like, oh, it would have been a tragedy. But
there would have been a kid through a window, maybe.
We'll make another one. It's okay.
There you go. Yeah, so no, I'm the same way. I'm sentimental about certain things. I've got a lot of my first prints that are in my workshop, and they're just nonsense things. But it's like, I know this was the one I did first. So Now, of course, with you being in St. Louis, what is the best barbecue or rib place in St. Louis?
Ooh. Okay, we have
I know my favorite.
there's Pappy's.
Yeah.
We got Super what's the one? Gosh, I want to say Super Smoker, but there's one that's really, we have a lot. We actually have a lot of good barbecue here.
Yep, no, that's but I'll agree with the first one because I've eaten at Pappy's several times when we visited St. Louis, and
we invented pork sticks and toasted ravioli here. So
there you go. I don't know if I had toasted ravioli yet. I'll have to do that next time. Maybe when I come toward the new Gloop building or factory slash.
Gloop is in our metro area, and I'm talking with the guys, so I'm offering to, like, if they need any help organizing or whatever. So hopefully we're gonna have like a big barbecue or something over at their warehouse when they're ready to open for the public.
I am game, and it's if it's free barbecue, it becomes a business trip for me regardless. So it's really free. It's a drivable distance, so it's worth it. But okay, so then next up too is you talked, of course, showed your X-wing earrings. You watched the first Star Wars in theaters.
Yes.
What's the best Star Wars?
Ooh. I just got to go with the original, New Hope, as they call it, as the kids
classic.
call it now. The first one is the best one because that's set up the whole thing.
And then with that too is what is or who or what, I guess, is your favorite character from the Star Wars franchise?
Oh, Han Solo.
Yeah, I figured so with the blaster. So
yeah,
easy enough.
Okay, you can't see it from here, but on the other wall over there, we have a giant Falcon, and it's like, Chewie, we're home. So that's my welcome sign.
Awesome. Well, other than that, last question I have is if somebody's looking to find out where you're at on socials, how to find your articles, anything about you, what's the best place to visit?
My blog is stldenise3d.com. And then I tried to grab STL Denise on all of the social. I'm on Twitter. I'm a little bit on Instagram and Facebook a little bit. I tried TikTok for a short while. But if you go STL
really
Denise,
consistent.
Yeah. So I'm definitely on Twitter. I've tried. I have a nice little bubble of my 3D printing friends, so I still hang out on Twitter. But I'm on Threads, and I think I opened up a Blue Sky also. But if you go to the blog, then you can track me down wherever.
And then, of course, if people see you at Rep Raps, I've met you, of course, multiple times. Very sweet. Come say hi, give you a high five, right?
Yes.
She's not a germaphobe or anything. She's not going to shoo you away like, whoa, 5 foot bubble, guys. So, but yeah.
I have boys. It's fine.
Yeah, nothing. That's what I always say is with 5 kids, nothing grosses me out. You double dip, whatever. My kids quadruple dip, so it's not a big deal. But no. So next place that we can see you in person is going to be coming soon at Rocky Mountain, correct?
Yes. I've got a maker table for the Rocky Mountain. We're going to be, like I said, we're working on, I'm going to paint that. We're going to make a stadium for the little football players. And then we both have death racers. So I've got Harley. My husband has, you see, okay, so there's Harley, and then Homer is in the back. So my husband drives Homer.
Any dragsters?
We got a dragster. We melted one once, but I think we had to reprint the dragster after we melted it that one time. But but we still do that.
So going to be lots of activities, lots of fun stuff. Come say hi to her, and her husband also awesome gentleman, very very sweet guy. So I look forward to seeing you. I really appreciate you coming on the show and letting people meet the next maker. So I will let you now go enjoy your Pappies or whatever you might be eating tonight. Now I'm going to be thinking of that until I'm in St. Louis next. I shouldn't have asked that question, but I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you here in just a few weeks.
All righty.
Have a good one.
Okay, thanks.
See ya. And there you have it. STL Denise. Let's try to say it without tongue-tying myself. Again, I've met her several times at several events. Always just a joy to be around. A super great lady. So if you are at any of the Rep Rap festivals, as she said, she's going to be planning to go to all 3. who knows what in between. Of course, there's 800 different events going throughout the world at any given time, but make sure to go give her a follow and the socials, see what she's doing. We keep up on, again, she reviews printers nonstop, and there's always more printers to review, so that's not going to end. But with that said, you see down here, which like you've seen at the beginning of the show, if you were here, some of you joined late, I won't hold it against you. You have just as much chance to win a spool of filament if you type in "I am awesome." So you got to get that in there. I do have it running. It is taking the entries. I feel horrible that I have to mention that every time, because there's too many times I forget to pop that up. So make sure to get that in. We will do a drawing here in just a few short minutes. But first, we're going to talk about some projects. We've got always so many going on, with so many in the works. But right now we have Polymaker figurines by Antoine Dimensions, and he is on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, etc. And he is printing Pokemon. He has printed many Pokemon. The entire first 151 is now in version 2 set of the Pokemon, and he shares a video every couple days on all the socials. And when he shares those, whatever Pokemon he is sharing, that model then becomes available to download for free on Maker World. That one you're gonna have to find. You can't search Polymaker figurines. It's under Antoine Dimensions _ figurine, no S. But you'll find it there, and you're gonna see all the previous Pokemon there. You can print it in multicolor, print it in solid color, however you want to do it. Very awesome, fun content to watch. He's a great guy. And then we also have Polymaker Education, which look at that, yeah, Brit is on it. I was getting ready to type it myself, and I seen you popped it up there. Oh, and Tony Wright actually, I think, beat you to it. Look at that. Tony's trying to take your job. But again, we have Polymaker Education, which is led by Creatrix Brit. And she does the same format of releasing a video, then that model becomes released for free, and that is on Maker World Things and Printables, I think. She can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's on all the repositories under Polymaker _ education. And again, just educational pieces, things to help teach things, show things, or even just some, I really like the biomes. I want to print some of those actually for myself, just because they look cool, with many more coming out. So she works with a team of designers to come up with ideas and models and everything, so you guys can print, and they always do their best to make it an easy printable thing that you can just download, send it to your printer, and go. So things, Thingiverse, Maker World Printables. Oh, see, even more. But as you see, there's a link tree, so that's going to tell you where to go anyway. For Polymaker Education, make sure to go give her a follow, give her some support, comment, like, all that good stuff, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm trying to be a pro. But that is for Polymaker Education. We also have !PML, and that is Polymaker Lab, and that is ran by Sean, one of our own employees here at Polymaker. You guys have seen his face. He just did feedback hour a couple hours ago. So he is dressed as the scientist, looking dapper as always, giving tips, tricks, troubleshooting, little bits of information that really go a long way if you're new to printing or if you're not new to printing. Just a fun, helpful thing. And again, does it with some good energy. He does some graphics, and he's kind of a pro at it. He did it in a past life. Nobody remembers who he was back then, but supposedly his channel got deleted, something, who knows. But last but not least, we have !IPC, and that is In Printing Color, show sponsored by Polymaker, hosted by Pezliz over on twitch.tv/Pezliz. That is every Wednesday, again, on her Twitch channel. So make sure to go show her support. We have, I say it every week, but we do have a lot of stuff coming. I hate always saying it every week, because then it seems like a lie, but it is. It's nothing's really been pushed back. We're looking about the June time frame. Don't hold me to it, but by then you guys are, by June, you'll at least know of them if they're not already ready and available for sale. But some cool colors, maybe some new material. Who knows? There's stuff in the works. Our R&D team is rocking it, as they always do. Our product managers, except Pete, are doing great with the product line. Pete has been busy slaving away at, again, getting some new filament out there, some new colors. And I've seen some of the colors. Good stuff coming, I promise you guys. So that is it for all the projects that are currently going on. Eventually, this segment here is going to be 20 minutes long, because we're going to have so many projects going on once we activate all of them. But we're here to draw now for free filament. Make sure to type in "I am awesome." If you're not sure you've done it, do it again. Make sure your name is in there. It's not going to remove an entry. It's not going to add a double entry. just do it. Make sure it's in there so you are entered, because right now 93 of the 170 watching are entered. And I should have said this before. YouTube, I am very sorry. It's only for Twitch. I'm going to give you some time to go over there if you want to, real quick, just to enter in. You don't have to be present in the chat. If you win, you have to reach out to me. The information there is joel.finn@polymaker.com/contact, contact and chat, and that will give you that. Or message me on Discord. It's discord.polymaker.com. I am Polymaker Joel in that server. Easy to reach out to me. So if you win, make sure you reach out to me and I'll verify everything there. But again, I'll give you some time real quick while I figure out who we're going to raid to. You guys can make sure to get over there and get that in to make sure you are entered for this chance. And I say it often, I'm really working on some optimization, I promise. I've got some help coming, but we're working on it. We're working. Always working. Let's see here. Who do we have active and online on the Twitch world? Come on. I'm delaying so you guys have time to enter in. Let's see here. Here we go. I see a familiar face that I haven't rated for a long while, because he's usually not on when I'm on. And actually, I think he's been away for a while. So we're going to support Glendon here after the drawing. And he is currently talking 3D printing, wrestling, and heavy metal. But he is doing 3D printing right now, but he's zoomed into a mic arm for some reason. Who knows? But we're going to make sure to raid out to him shortly. But we got to draw real quick. We're at 102. I'm going to give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're going to draw. Oh, I missed, okay, people are suggesting, okay, usually, since I don't watch the chat as much, you should DM me. I probably still won't check, I guess so, I have several. Never mind, ignore, I'm an idiot. Just Mecca, congratulations, you have won a spool of Polymaker filament. That is going to be sent to you in one way or another. Make sure you reach out to me and say, hey, I won the giveaway on Meet the Polymaker on 4/17/2025. I want my spool. Give it to me. If you're in the US or Canada, you'll get a code. If you're an international, it'll be placed manually for you and shipped as soon as possible. So that is it for the show. We will be back next week, as we are every week, to do the same thing. And I always enjoy it. I love the support. You guys are all awesome, even if you didn't win filament. And again, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, tune in here. We got some other streams. We might have another stream coming soon. So we'll see you soon.